Good evening. Welcome to this channel about past lives and reincarnation. So maybe you are certain that you have lived before. I think most of you are who are listening to this. Maybe you want to know more about what you did and what happened. And I will tell you my experience from this. Joy is the best. For me it was. Joy led me to that information, big time. What I liked to do led me to that information. It sort of opened it up for me, see. And it started when I started painting this lifetime. Very soon I realized, I've done this before. I felt this, I was so excited, I was so happy when I painted, And I knew that I had lived before, but I started to get pictures when I was painting, and I was watching my hands, and I sort of knew what to do, I was very confident when I painted a picture. So, and eventually, after some hard work, it opened up for me, this lifetime in France, which I talked about. I made at least one video about this. When I was a painter in France in the 1800s. And today I'll tell you about another example, which opened up another lifetime, which was 800, maybe 850 years ago in Italy. And it started when I started doing gardening. That's right. I knew about this lifetime already. I knew some things that happened. But when I started gardening, I became interested. Why do I like it so much? See, when me and my girlfriend moved here to this homestead 4 years ago, we started growing our own food. We built 2 greenhouses. We created this pretty big kitchen garden where we grow stuff outside too, And I liked it so much. Made me so happy when I was doing these things. And just the other day, I was in one of the greenhouses and I was preparing the soil for the season. And I sat down to rest. And I said to myself, you still like this so much, don't you? It didn't go away. So whenever I do this, I feel so happy. And it led me to more information about that lifetime. It's one of my best lifetimes, I think. So I'll tell you about it. So I grew up with parents, of course. I had one sister and one brother, at least. That's what I see. And my parents, they had this garden, big garden, and they had a restaurant. So they were growing stuff, they prepared the stuff in the restaurant to make food for the customers. It was a big place, that's what I see. One of the first things that I saw was when I was about 4 years old, and I'm with my father in the garden, and he pulls up this garlic from the ground. And he cleans it off and he sort of rubs it and puts it under my nose. And I get to smell the garlic, And I can see it with my father that he's so pleased. Of course, this is survival. You can feed the family and you can provide for your customers, And I have a lot of memories from this place. I can see it clearly. I see big piles of aubergines and tomatoes, but most of all I see the joy with my parents, but also with us kids. We learn about this. That planting and working the soil and the harvest, It's survival, of course. So there's very much pleasure in the whole thing. Right? That's great. I see it. It's on a slope like this garden, and the house where we live is right there. And I see grapes. That's right. Vines. A lot of them, actually. I don't know, maybe 60 of them, these vines. So they make wine, my parents do. And this wine is also very important for survival, because that wine is very popular in the restaurant. See, makes a lot of people come to the restaurant. It's the wine and the food, of course. But I remember that these vines, it's a beautiful looking plant, and harvesting. And I got a grapevine for my greenhouse. I planted it 3 years ago, and now it's getting pretty big. And I just love that plant, Such a pleasure to see it. And we got a great harvest from grapes last year. And that's how it works. So whatever you like, if you like something very, very much, there you go. You did it earlier. You can also see it with kids, I think, quite often. You see where they start to enjoy themselves. What are they doing? What are they really interested in? Well, I would say 100%. They have done it before. That's why they are finding such great interest in something. And it makes them happy. See? Right. That's all. Be good.